Hello, friends, and welcome back to r/IDontWorkHereLady. And our first story for today about a Karen at the golf club. Golf club pro shuts down a rude older lady demanding me to help her with her golf clubs. So a couple years ago, I had a summer job at a pretty nice golf course. I split my time between helping members out with their bags / cleaning clubs / storing them and working behind the register in the pro shop. There was always this one really rude older lady who was always condescending when she talked to me, and instead of asking me to do things, she ordered me to do them. And while they're not mandatory, she never tipped either. I always put up with it because it wasn't my place to get involved. Fast forward to this week. It's opening day, and now I have a better job and as a result, a membership at the same club. As I'm loading my own bag into my cart to go out and play my first round of the year, lo and behold, this lady steps out of her SUV and starts waddling towards me. I immediately knew she was about to ask me to get her clubs, and I'd be lying if I said I didn't get a bit excited about the opportunity to finally fire back. "Hey you, get my clubs on a cart. I'm going to play 9. I told her very calmly that I no longer worked at the club. She basically replied with, "I don't care. You will load my clubs onto the cart or I'll speak with the pro." I told her to go ahead, and she marched into the pro shop. A few minutes later, her and the pro walk out, and he notices it's me and tells her that I don't work at the club anymore. At this point, she's fuming. "Well then, who's going to load my clubs onto the cart?" The pro walked over and helped her out with her clubs, and as she was walking past, she mumbled something at me under her breath and gave me a nasty look. The pro made it all worth it when he stopped her and said, "Listen, I understand the confusion. And I know you've been a member here for a long time. But OP's also a member here. And you can't treat other members like that." If anyone else has ever been in such a situation, you would know how good it feels to hear something like that. Long story short, she didn't say another word. I don't work here, lady. And no, I'm not here to babysit your kid. A playground Karen. So I live in an apartment block with my wife and kid. Down the road is a restaurant / bar / pokey machine / entertainment venue. Quite large. Picture the place you'd take the family for cheap, good meals and a beer. There's 2 cool things about this place. 1, you have to be a member. Just to sign up, really small fee. 2, for my kid, it has a playground. Given the membership deal, it's pretty much a sweet A private playground for her 80% of the time we go. It's in a closed-off area and extra safe. No way, once you're in there, could you run off and fall from something. I take her all the time. There's one part that's like a room at the top of one part of the playground where a few small kids could sit. So I take my kid, playing, all is well. Then this other kid pops in. I see him play on some stuff, then disappear among the playground equipment. 20 minutes later, I hear a Karen run in frantically looking for someone. She looks at me and asks if I've seen a kid, XYZ description, and I'm like, yeah, I think he's in there. Then she starts berating me. I should have told her he's been in here for so long. I scrunch my face up, kind of confused, like, what? She then wants me to crawl through the playground to go get him from up in the large room, but he's probably crying up there. I said no. She gets even more furious. She said the staff there usually does it. So cue my, "I don't work here, lady. You want me to supervise your kid and keep you updated on him? There's like 100 people here right now. Sign says children must be supervised at all times." She's in the corner, on the ropes, huffs and awkwardly tries to get her plus-size body through the playground to fetch the kid. She comes down and says, "You left him up there all scared." I say, "What, lady? That's what you did. I'm not your babysitter. How would I even know whose kid this is? There's heaps of people here. He's your responsibility." She literally turns her cheek and says, "You're horrible." And I say, "Yeah, and you're a great mom." Look, sir, I do work here, and I am the boss. I'm not sure if this belongs here, but I have a story that's the exact opposite of "I don't work here, lady," that I felt would be fun to share. So about 5 years ago, I worked at the International Center of a university in the United States. To give some background info, I'm an Asian female, 5'1", and though I was in my early 30s at the time, I still looked quite young and was often mistaken for being in my early 20s or late teens. My main job responsibility at the time was the recruitment, training, and management of about a dozen international student interns who worked the front desk. Anyway, we'd been swamped that morning, so I hadn't had the time to go out and eat lunch. I got a sandwich at our campus vending machine and sat down in the break room. The break room was always cold due to the AC blasting through the room, so I put on a comfy university jacket and kept at my desk just to wear during break. I kept the break room door open to keep an ear out for the front and let my interns know they could still pop in to ask any questions they want. I'd hired a couple new students that month, and they were still learning. A few minutes later, I heard a man's voice yell something along the lines of, "No, no, no, you do not understand. You are stupid, stupid, stupid." The childish outcries, exclaimed in a grown male voice, made me immediately stand up and rush to the front desk area without even remembering to take my jacket off. The man was literally wagging his finger at my intern and yelling while almost comically stomping his feet. I interrupted his tantrum and introduced myself as the intern supervisor, gave my name and position, and told him I could assist him with the issue. The man immediately looked me up and down, scoffed a short "no," then turned right back to the intern and asked her to call the supervisor, as he needed to ask someone who actually works here, not just some young girl like the intern who sits there at the front repeating nonsense. This wasn't my first rodeo with unnecessarily angry students, so I calmly gestured at my intern to step away and planted myself directly in front of him. That made him change his rant towards me, saying, "Listen, I know you Chinese want to help each other, but my issue's urgent, so I need to see your supervisor." Supervisor. He made a little phone dialing gesture here and says, "Call him, and he can sign my I-20. Yes, both my intern and I were Asian, but nope, neither one of us were Chinese. And I hate when people over-enunciate when speaking to me. My thoughts often immediately go to "English is my first language, moron," as is evident by the fact that I just spoke to you. Also, it pisses me off that he assumed the supervisor would be male. I did my best to remain calm, however, and confirmed the issue. "Oh, so you're here to get an I-20 travel signature? If you go online and submit the form, you will—" "No, damn it, you don't understand," he screamed, then proceeded a rapid rant saying that I must get a real staff member who actually works there instead of giving him the same instructions again, because he needed this signed now because he wanted to go out of town tonight, and surely the school didn't want to make him, a student who pays such high tuition, to have to come back on campus just to get a signature before he leaves the country after his road trip. "Do you know how much money I give to the school?" he asked. "Do little girls from China even understand how expensive my luxury trip was to book?" he wondered. "Get the man who can actually help me here," he demanded. More background info. University students in the U.S. on an I-20 visa need an updated signature on their form every once in a while in order to travel abroad and get back. Now, I hated it when entitled students asked for expedited services just for convenience. Many students actually planned ahead and made their requests on time. It wasn't fair to expedite the process for whoever asked the loudest. I was actually the one who had the power to approve very limited last-minute travel signature requests due to the real emergency situation, such as family emergency, etc. But obviously, this guy and his luxury vacation wasn't going to qualify for expedited service just for being a D-bag. I raised my hand and put my palm out in front of his face for a second to stop his rapid ongoing rant. "Again, sir, I am the supervisor in this area. Now let me continue. I hear your issue. My intern here has given you the instructions for I-20 signatures already, but you want expedited service simply because you don't want to have to come back to our office another day to pick it up? Yes? Okay then. No. Let me continue. Unfortunately, that cannot be arranged, so please go home, submit the online form like all of our F1 students, and wait 2 to 3 business days for a response." He started to speak again, but I put my hand out again to stop him, maintained eye contact, and picked up the phone. "Also, sir, if you do not leave immediately, I will be calling campus security to escort you out of this building for harassing me and my staff members. But before you go, just so you know, I'll be noting in your form that you are missing XX days from school. Note that you must maintain your full-time student status for your visa. As you have kindly told us of your planned weeks of absence, please be ready to submit documentation of why this was an excused absence from your classes. Lastly, do not insult my staff again or you will be banned from entering this office." He stood there stunned for a few seconds, then started to say something again, but I proceeded to dial the number on the phone. I couldn't actually remember campus security's extension. I was just pressing random numbers. But he ran out. This may not have been the best solution ever to a yucky situation, but it was actually the first time I kicked a student out of the office, so I was a bit shaken up about it. The best part of the story, though, is what happened next. My boss at the time, white female in her 40s, walked in a few minutes after and asked me to come talk to her. I thought I was in trouble for some reason, but she actually asked me instead if everything was okay, because she met a rude international student outside. Apparently, the rude man had run into my boss outside, and he'd asked her if she happens to know who is the boss of the girl in there, and if she knew how he could talk to him. My boss had said that she was the supervisor of the woman who works in there, and asked if she could help. The man apparently then said something along the lines of how she then needed to find him the man highest up the chain because this issue demanded real work. He was rude enough that my boss actually did call campus police to escort him off the campus property. She told me that next time, the moment he raises his voice, I don't need to even engage him in conversation. I can just kick him out immediately, as he was forewarned that this is what had happened next time. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.